What's up, everybody? It's Christian Ballard, sports journalist here at Ballard Sports Media. Hey, thanks for watching the video. Appreciate it. Hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and let's get into it. Aaron Murray, former Georgia quarterback, got a lot of love and respect for him. I thought he was great at Georgia. He was one of the better quarterbacks at Georgia that did not end up winning a national title. Obviously, they didn't, win a title until Stetson Bennett came along, um, but I will say he was a darn good quarterback in the early 2010s and everything like that. I remember especially like the 2012, 2013 seasons when he did lead Georgia to an SEC championship in 2012, and then I guess a couple SEC losses here or there kind of kept him out of the SEC title in 2013. But anyway, I bring him up to bring up another quarterback in Ty Simpson for Alabama, but he was on the Hard Count JD Pickle show from On Three, and we're going to kind of react to what he had to say. But apparently, he had some good things to say about Ty Simpson going into 2025 for the Alabama Crimson Tide. So, from one quarterback to another quarterback, I am curious what he has to say regarding Ty Simpson. So let's see what Aaron Murray, no disrespect there, has to say.
Bama's super interesting, Aaron. I want to get your thoughts on this, man. The quarterback room, it feels like it's Ty Simpson until
Yeah.
it's not, by all accounts, based on what's going on. I think Ryan Grubb actually came out and said if we started the season tomorrow, like Ty Simpson would be our guy. I'm not falling for the head fake that Bama's dead after a 9-3 year, Aaron. I don't buy it. I think the roster's too good. I think Kalen DeBoer's too good. I love they got Ryan Grubb in the fold, top 10 defense last year. Like, where are you at right now in Tuscaloosa?
I love Kalen DeBoer still. There's no doubt about it. I'm with you. I still think he's a top tier coach. He's going to get it together. I think the combination of him and Grubb together is an absolutely beautiful thing. The quarterback position is still a question mark. I still thought that Jalen Milroe had a lot of really good tools to be an exceptional quarterback. And at times you saw that, the Georgia game, a couple other games throughout the season where like, man, the dude's the best athlete on the field.
Now pause real quick. I'm just reacting to this just now. I knew he was going to talk about some Alabama quarterbacks, all these different quarterback situations. The question is he high on Ty Simpson? And we're fixing to find that out here real quick. Um, but obviously, talking about Jalen Milroe here, my thoughts on him. Yeah, I hope he does well with the Seahawks. I really do. I thought he did great things for Alabama. I thought he did some not terrible things, but just had some bad moments here or there. But it's time to turn the page. It's time for a new leaf. It's time for DeBoer's era to really get going and for a new chapter. I just think that it should be Ty's job to lose, and which I think that it is. I think that Ryan Grubb, obviously, as you heard, he came out in spring pressers and said that Ty would start today, even though there's no clear separation. He would probably still get the nod. But again, we go back to Mr. Aaron Murray and what he was saying.
He can throw the ball 60, 70 yards up the field. Yeah, there's some intermediate throws that are struggling, but you get Kalen and he's were more issues. You follow me on social media and kind of our YouTube channel. You saw me do some of the break. The issues I thought were purely fundamentals, where his feet were aligned to where he was trying to throw the football did not match up, which caused a lot of inaccuracies. And you kind of saw a Jalen Milroe that looked like the best player in college football versus Georgia. Then at times last year looked very average, which was surprising. You go back to Tyson and the lackluster performance from Alabama as a whole, especially in that game versus USF, and you kind of sit like, man, is that going to be the guy? But you have to kind of remember too, like Football players develop, just like I talked about with Georgia previously. Football players and great coaches take players and they hopefully take them to another level. So the goal and hope is, hey, Ty Simpson has matured over the past couple of years. He's continued to develop as a quarterback. Maybe he's a better schematic fit for Grubb and DeBoer and what they're trying to do. We'll see. I still think at the end of the day, big issue with Alabama over the past couple of years is they've not been the same on the outside. Ryan Williams is elite. Ryan Williams is probably the number 2 receiver in America. No, don't get me wrong. But when Alabama was great over the past 2 decades, they were either one of two things: dominant with guys like Derrick Henry that would just run the ball and just beat you to death, or they evolved to having 3 receivers and they would just throw it all over the ballpark with 2 guys that were now playing in the NFL. And all of a sudden, now you got to the point where Alabama offensively is like, well, they're not elite running the football. They're not blowing people off consistently at the offensive line position. And they're not elite or deep at the receiver position on the outside.
I can fully agree, actually. I would say the last couple years, even at the back half of Saban's tenure, I don't know, like ever since the COVID natty, it just seems like it's been a drop off. Not at quarterback. Obviously, we had Bryce Young win the Heisman and stuff like that, but like I I mean, maybe a little bit of a drop off from Bryce to Jalen. And again, I'm not here to diss Milrow. Let's put any negativity aside in this video today. Let's focus on this whole idea that Alabama doesn't have an offense. Well, that's just not true. Is it what it used to be? No. Um, I kind of view it as they started out the Saban era where they dominated on defense. They were okay with the run game, or they were great with the run game. They were okay in the pass game. Uh, and then they got to Jalen Hurts, to all these wide receivers come in. Now you have this quarterback play going on in Tuscaloosa. And now in 2025, you wonder what's next for the Crimson Tide. And I do like Ty Simpson as quarterback 1. I could see him being very elite. He's at least elite coming out of high school in Martin, Tennessee. So he he has that potential. You have a guy like you mentioned in Ryan Williams, a guy that no one really wants to talk about outside of Ryan Williams. I'm telling you, watch out for Isaiah Horton. Watch out for Jeremy Bernard. There's kind of that trio that's going to take place this year, possibly for the Crimson Tide offense at wide receiver. And then you talk the run game. Justice Haynes goes to Michigan. He leaves. You've had great backs over the years like Mark Ingram, Derrick Henry, Jace McClellan a couple of seasons ago. And when you really dive into it and look at it, like that's going to be a loaded group as well, I think, possibly because Alabama got back to running the football a little bit last year, I think. And uh it's yeah, I don't know, man. I don't here's the thing. I don't know what they're gonna do offensively. Are they going to want to throw the ball because of Ty Simpson's accuracy? Possibly. Are they gonna want to run the ball more? It could be. That's possible. But I mean, because you got guys out there like Richard Young. You got uh I'm trying to think who else is out there. Um, I don't know. I'm drawing a blank on some of our running backs right now, so I apologize. But the point is, we do have the depth for it. I do think that we are in a really good position for the run game. I don't know if it's going to be our number one priority. You could see a little bit of a mix. You could see us running the ball a lot one week, and then Alabama the next week wants to throw the ball a lot. We'll see. Um, So there's that. I do think that Aaron Murray is making some good points here, though.
It's their identity. Literally, they had an identity, and Saban did a good job of transitioning that identity from power to spread you out, throw the football. What are they trying to do at Alabama? Do they have the weapons to do that? Do they have the weapons that DeBoer had at Washington to spread you out with multiple receivers? Or do they get back to trying to run the football a little bit more? So I think, to me, that's the interesting thing. I think they're trying to figure that out still. And a lot has to depend on how good Tyson's going to be.
And I think what you just said is exactly why last year was so tricky to evaluate when it comes to what next year's going to be. Because Jalen Miller, like you said, there's times where, dude, he's awesome. It's almost like
Jam Miller is the main guy I'm thinking of, by the way, for the running back. I apologize for not having it come to my mind completely there, but Jam Miller, Daniel Hill, a couple different guys, Richard Young, it stands out, Kevin Riley. I think you kind of got somewhat of a trio, or maybe really, I think it'd be a duo between Miller and Young at running back. But anyways, that's beside the point. Getting off topic there, but um, I think this offense could be one of the best, at least in the SEC. And I know that Murray's point here isn't necessarily on the whole offense completely, but he's trying to make a good point about Ty Simpson. And it's funny that a lot of people saw the spring game a couple years ago on television, said Alabama's quarterback situation. Honestly, a bunch of you guys said it sucks. Oh, they just don't look good. They look terrible out there today. They're not going to be good this year. And to a point, Saban's last year, 2023, you have that battle with Buckner, with Simpson, with Jalen Milrow, who ultimately got it after that USF game. Um, I would agree. There was just a lot of inconsistency. There was a lot of inexperience going into that year. Jalen Milrow kind of, I thought, got better throughout 2023. Won the SEC championship. Kalen DeBoer comes in, Saban retires. We get all that. And then he's the guy last year. Well, now he's with the Seahawks. He's off in the NFL. Now you need that leadership again at offense and at quarterback. Um, and is it going to be better than Milrow? I think it has to be. Not saying he's like the worst we've ever had. Obviously, he's not. But I mean, you got a couple different guys out there on this roster. You got Austin Mack, you got Ty Simpson, you got Keelan Russell. Dylan Lonergan, he's out. He's over at Boston College now, I believe. So, anyway, I get into all this. Aaron Murray likes Ty Simpson as our quarterback one for Alabama this year. And I think he's made some good points here. I really do because, you know, there's, it's just so weird. We'll go ahead and stop screen sharing, but it's kind of weird that Ryan Grubb's come out and said, well, no, Kalen DeBoer. Okay, so get these facts straight here. That Kalen DeBoer said, and he is the head coach. He said there's no separation at quarterback. Right? He said that. Now, if he had a presser right now, would he say the same thing? Maybe, maybe not. I think it's obvious it's going to be Ty Simpson, but at the same time, you're you're kind of fighting for that backup spot if you're Austin Mack and Keelan Russell. But Kalen DeBoer, it's his show. It's his offense. He's an offensive genius. He gets to go with whoever he wants. If he doesn't want Simpson, he doesn't want Simpson, right? But I would be shocked if it's not Ty Simpson. Aaron Murray's basically saying the same thing, that he's just separated himself so well. You know, even though Kalen DeBoer said there's no separation right now, and then Ryan Grubb comes out a few weeks later and says, "Oh, if we started today, Ty would be the starter tomorrow." Like, you know, so I don't know. Bama fans, let me know your thoughts in the comment section on this. Let me know your thoughts on what Aaron Murray had to say. Nothing but respect for him. I know he's a Georgia quarterback and stuff, but he was one heck of a player at UGA. He's a good analyst today, and he just yeah, I think he's got really good football IQ. He's really smart with what he does. So anyway, that being said, that's all I got for you. My final thoughts on this is I do think Ty Simpson's going to get the job. He's going to get the nod at starter for 2025. And, that Florida State game week 1 on the road, I don't I don't know, man. I don't know what Florida State's going to look like. They're probably the biggest mystery team out there this year. They could either be really, really bad again, or they could be really, really good. Or they could just be mediocre right in the middle at 6-6, 7-5, which wouldn't be a bad thing, I don't think. Uh, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's a set game on the schedule that's going to determine the quarterback battle until maybe week 4 at Georgia. I think that's the key game. I don't think it's Wisconsin early. Obviously, not going to be ULM week 2. And it could be Florida State if it's a tricky game. Because again, we don't know how Florida State's going to bounce back. If they are going to bounce back, is that a clear cut game that you look at and you say, well, this is going to be the defense that's going to give them trouble. So they need the right quarterback here. And this will determine the rest of the season. I'm going to say that's a mystery right now. I would not name a go to starter for the whole season until after the Georgia game. Now, I think it should be Ty. I think he's waited his turn. And you heard Aaron Murray say that. That's fair. But at the same time, it's like, dude, like, Um, I don't know. I just someone that you got to prove yourself. You got to put yourself out there. You got to prove yourself. I love you guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I love y'all. Jesus loves you. Roll Tide. God bless.